Hi everyone, welcome to the reality capture session. And my name is Ramesh Sridharan. I'm Senior Product Manager from Autodesk. Hope you guys are having a great ACEC conference this week, and thanks for attending the civil workshop. So for next 30-40 minutes, we will quickly go through how you can leverage your reality capture data for your civil design as simple as possible. And I know many of you guys know what a reality capture is and you know what a reality capture software is, but just to set the stage, I just want to quickly show you the reality capture product. What we have in Autodesk is called Autodesk Recap. Alright everyone, before we go any further, just want to give a safe harbor. I think most of the items we'll be talking today, it's already in the product, so you can literally try it right today. And a couple of items I might get excited. I might actually tell you something that's going to come up real soon or something. It's officially not in the current product, so just don't make any purchase decision based on this session. It's point clouds visualization and processing tool. You can bring in point clouds from any means. I'm sure you know about the backpack point clouds or the airborne lidars from your state, or the mobile lidar. Put it on the back of the truck and drive it. And obviously you can't miss drones nowadays, and internal lidar like a terrestrial lidar. Put the lidar inside the buildings and so on, and combination of these are also popping up in the industry nowadays. So collecting the point cloud data is getting easier and easier and easier. I'm sure many of you are already dealing with the point clouds. If not, I'm sure you've seen it or you've heard of it. So the recap makes those process of bringing different point cloud data, each format, each sensor, different ways to get it. So recap provides you a solution of creating it. Like we have a recap photo where you can get your drone photos converted to point cloud. We have a registration capabilities, bringing multiple point clouds you can register together. And if you already have registered and created point cloud, you can bring it into recap and visualize for collaboration, visualization, measurements, stakeholder engagement, all those things you can do. Recap. It carries way more features, but I'll definitely highlight today the key features, like something like real view, where you can actually see things from the photos itself, or you can actually collect with the publish to the cloud and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of capabilities to do. And I know I mentioned the photo based recap photo. I just want to highlight it. It could be an object based extraction, or it could be a drone based extraction. You can even bring in your phone pictures of a 360 images and get the point cloud off of it as well. So it makes it much versatile. I know I talked too much of the recap and recap pro and things like that. Quickly show you what it is. Sorry. Yeah, the key idea is, like I said, we have a lot of extraction capability, a lot of visualization capability. At the end, the objective of the point cloud, objective of the reality capture solutions in Autodesk is to help customers like you to leverage the reality information from the reality capture data. No matter how it was collected, how you got it, we want to help you how you can get the best out of the data and continue with your design or model. And just to quickly tell you the overview of it, because I know I'm going to talk about a couple of products. Sometimes it can get confusing. You will hear too many product names, so I'll keep it very simple. Any sensors like this, like I mentioned before, a terrestrial or drone or a backpack or a mobile, you can bring it in the software called Recap Pro. That's the main software. It has a visualization components in it. It has a sub component called Recap Photo. That's where you can launch the photo processing, convert photos into point clouds. It has a great mesh visualization, editing capabilities, and so on and so forth. So from probably many of the audience perspective, the Recap Pro is the main software you'll be dealing with. If you want to ask somebody after the session, what software should I get to do everything what Ramesh was showing, that would be Recap Pro. And for those developers in this group today, we also have a Recap SDK and the 4 services available where you can get the functions of the SDK and create your own tools on top of it. I'm not going to deal too much on SDK part today, but if you are interested, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to talk to you later. But the idea here is getting the Recap Pro, the product, and sorry, getting the Recap Pro product in your workflow. And if you are part of any of these collections, AEC collection or media entertainment and product design, I'm assuming most of you guys are AEC collections customers. You might already have, not you might, if you have a collection, you already have Recap Pro in your collection. The Recap is one of the product, it's in all the collections actually. So, for all the things, you might actually have the product already. It's just a matter of installing if needed and double clicking that. That's it. And obviously, you'll ask the question, what I will do after double clicking? That's exactly what we're going to cover today. And before jumping into the product, I want to show you guys what we are trying to do in a simple block diagram so that you get a frame of reference on it. Like I said, the Recap Pro product does a lot of stuff. I mentioned registration, where your point cloud or point cloud images come into registers and create a cohesive point cloud data, or directly a point cloud data. You can import it. Like I mentioned a couple of times already, when you bring an image, we have the photo cloud service available also. All come inside the Recap desktop, which is where the visualization and measurements and publishing, a lot of things happen there. If you want to create a mesh, like a 3D mesh, you can also do that. There's a scan to mesh service to do it as well. So at the end of the day, Recap is the best visualization software in the market for you to look at the point cloud what you have, and it can also create a mesh and the indexed point cloud that can go into our cloud, Autodesk Construction Cloud or BIM 360, or any desktop product, Revit, Civil 3D, InfraWorks, Navisworks, so on and so forth. This has been the workflow for quite some time. I would say almost last 8-9 years, since the inception of Recap, for that matter. Excuse me. This is a great workflow. It gets your point cloud data into the design environment. But the challenge is point clouds are huge. If anyone new to the point cloud, if this is a news to you, you got a lot of catch up to do. Point cloud has a large is a notorious for the large data set in a good way, because it carries a lot of data, a lot of information that's valuable, but it has to store all those information somewhere. So that's why the point cloud data are huge, and you taking it to a desktop products takes time, takes processing time and so on. That becomes a bottleneck. On top of that, you need tools in the desktop products to extract what you want. That's kind of the challenge, not only in Autodesk actually, it's in industry. That's a big challenge today. So we know that, we understand that. So we've been working on the better workflow for the customers to not only help them with the feature extraction, information extraction, but also handle the data management, so that point cloud should not be a problem to you. If any of you guys are not using point cloud because you think it's like a next generation or AI ML kind of a thing, it's too much for my work, too big a data, today in next 20 minutes we can pay attention. You'll actually see we are trying to make it as simple as possible, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come in the Autodesk product. Let me tell you what I mean. Here is the workflow today. You can actually apply in your workflow using Autodesk product. The Recap Pro, that's the same thing. Nothing is changing. It can do a lot of prep work. You can visualize awesome things. Everything is good. Again, it also still creates a mesh and point cloud data. But the key enhancements we made and we are continuing to do is how that data feeds in directly into ACEC. Again, Autodesk Construction Cloud. It's Autodesk Cloud. There you can visualize it. You can share with your stakeholders, share with your colleagues. You can do a model coordination. You can overlay your point clouds or the mesh from point cloud on top of your Civil 3D model or the Revit model or the Navisworks model and so on. So without even downloading anything, without even getting too much into the project, you can actually visualize how it fits into my drawing, what is the work I need to do, how this existing condition helps me. You can check all those things just with a click of a button. And on top of it, we thought, if users are going to visualize it, why can't we give them a power to extract some information? It's right there, I see it. So that's why we added capability of scan to design. We are also in the process of adding scan to BIM, like a BIM based extraction. I will stick today on the scan to design part. I believe most of the customers today, audience today is on that, interested in that. If you need more information, definitely please reach out to me. Don't even hesitate. Even if you don't need information, reach out to me. We'll work it out. The idea here is the point cloud goes into cloud, and there you can do anything you want to do from anywhere. It's a browser. It's in the cloud, right? I can access through browser. Literally, a simple laptop could also do the extraction part of it because things happen in the cloud. And once you extract it, the information content, in your case, if I talk about civil design, your information content like the feature line or the feature points or the asset points or COCO points, however you want to call it, those information can come into your civil 3D. You continue your design without bogging down by the large point cloud data. How cool is that? I get to work with the point cloud without having any of those baggage, yet I'm not compromising on the quality and the accuracy of the feature lines I get. I can still do my civil 3D design the way with the point cloud technology I should be. That's exactly what we are achieving today. Again, like I said, everything I'm showing you today is still the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come. Stay tuned. All right. So I thought of making it, and not even making it, actually, we are designing the product simple. We want to keep it really simple. Civil design in 3 steps. So step number 1. I told you before, right? You probably have the product already. If not, installing is very easy. I'm not going to go through this session on how to install the product. You can go to manage.autodesk.com or talk to your IT folks to install it. But once you double click that recap button, what do you do? What needs to be done? That's the step number 1. Very simple. So what recap does is, hold on, yeah. So what recap does, so this is a Recap Pro software. Little bit of a modern look, a little bit of a different look than you're probably used to on the other product. But the idea here is, this is where you can bring in different types of point cloud data. I'm going to throw some technical words here, like different file formats. You might have heard the format LAS, maybe LAZ you might have heard, and E57, FLS, PTS, PTX, ASCII, there are a lot of them there. All of them can come into very simply, you create a project and you give the project folder and project name. This can be in your local drive, or it could be your sometimes I usually create a ACEC, the data desktop connector folder, but wherever you want to, just create a project and press OK, and it creates a project. Set files to import, select files to import. It supports almost all the formats available in the market today. We support it. You select them. You have a choice to kind of filter out any high intensity values. I'm not going to go too technical here. Let's leave it as high intensity values, but this is important. If you want, you can decimate the grid. For civil design, I wouldn't suggest you to do that. But the most important thing is coordinate systems. Your data might come in UTM. You will want it in your state plane coordinate system. You can change that here. So I can give the current coordinate system, whatever the data comes in. I'm pretty sure you will know that information. If not, there is a way to find it. Specify that, and it has a big coordinate system library. It will tell you, let you pick and target coordinate system where your civil design is going to be and what coordinate system you're going to work on. Specify that. In this case, I'm just giving you the same thing. I want to make sure the coordinate system information goes with the point cloud data. You can also do that. I would suggest you to do it if it's the same. But if not, give the transformation. So anything you do, extract from here will be in the desired coordinate system, so you can easily take it in. And now it actually gets a large project. It actually indexes it. It creates a project, and it also does a multi-threading. If you have multiple processors in your machine, it does leverage that and gives you the result as fast as possible. Here's a large data. I can bring it in and I can visualize in my recap product. Very simple. Like I said, step number 1 is importing the point cloud data. Step number 2, publish it. There are prep works you can actually do. I will cover that maybe a little later. Since you have the point cloud data, most of the time you might not do this for this workflow we're talking about. There are some prep works like the automatic classification, surface extraction. There are a lot of stuff you can do as a part of the step 1, like a import and prepping, let's say. But I don't want to complicate it. Let's keep it simple. Import, and next I want to publish it. Now I want to share it with my team members. Very simple. The same recap project, and if you go back or I mean, if you're following the step, you're already there. And anything you want to do, this is a rule of thumb is you click the home button on the top left, another toolbar will roll out, and that's where most of the actions are. Some of the visualizations you actually already see on the screen. The one on the left panel that shows you some of them. But here, import, export, save, all those things are there. There is a button called publish. I click the publish. If you make any changes, it will give you an option to save the project before you save it. So you save the latest and greatest. If you already published, you can update it. It will sync it back. So you're everything on the same page. If not, in this case, let's say I want to create a new project in my ACEC cloud, Autodesk Construction Cloud or BIM 360 cloud. I can mention that, and I can specify. I know exactly where I need to put it, the project name, and this will put it right there. That's the ACEC docs. This is where the desktop connector docs comes into picture. I'm not going to go through that installation thing also, but if you need, I can provide you information later. So here I can create a project if I want to, and it actually will address that, and you can save it. The idea here is you will publish exactly the place you want to, so any of your colleagues or stakeholders you want to share with will have access to it right away. That's it. You click the publish and click the publish button, and the data goes out. And this will use a desktop connector behind the screen, and the bottom of the desktop connector you will see the files are getting uploaded. I would strongly suggest you to use this desktop connector 16.x version. 16.4 is the latest one. It does a fantastic job on syncing the data to the cloud. So right here, this is what I published. When I go there, I see all those RCP file. I click that RCP file. RCP stands for recap project, and I can see the same point cloud now in the browser. And you can ask, Ramesh, what's the big deal? I'm already seeing it there. Why should I see it in the browser here? Here's the kicker. Anybody can see this in the browser, and you don't have to have the product installed. That's the best part. So now let's just say I published it, I created this, I prepped it, I published it, and I'm not the guy who's going to extract it. You guys are. If you guys are going to extract the information, I publish it, I share it with you, and you can take it, and you can even open the browser, and you can do a feature extraction without downloading a single point in your hard drive. How cool is that? It actually streams everything, and it does the job for you. So here you go. That's a step number 2, publishing the data. Now step 3 is I published it. I have the point cloud in the cloud. I want to extract the information. That's step 3. So we call it as a linear feature. In this particular demo, I'm going to stick to the linear feature extraction part. Right there. Oops. Let me play this. All right. So steps are much easy. In step 3, now I have the point cloud data in the browser, and I want to extract the information. And I'm not going to give you too much of the overview of this viewer. It's mostly self-explanatory. You actually see on the top left, you see the scans and any annotations, and I didn't extract anything. Anything you extract will pop up here, and the bottom is where the action is happening. So now I want to extract some information. I take where I want to go. There's the button called linear feature extraction. So it's just a viewing so that it's easy for me to recognize, and there are a lot of tool buttons there for visualization here. In this case, I say this is the linear feature I want to extract. I click, and I direct the way I want to extract. The software shows you the cross-section view right in the browser, so you have a complete control over it. And now I can actually say this is what I want to extract, and it shows you those 4 dots. Those are the vertices for your lines. So I'm setting up the template here, like a back of curve, top of curve, bottom of curve, lip of curve. Anything you want to, you can actually specify. In this particular case, it's a curve. I can specify, and I can add the tag information. It could be your guardrail, top of guardrail, bottom of guardrail you're extracting, or it could be your crown of road, or it could be the wall, or ditch. Any ditch you want to extract, any break line you're trying to extract, you can set it up as a template, and software will recognize that. And once you have the template set up, you can also give the corresponding tag, and I can position this template anywhere. Like I said, it basically looks for the point cloud data, looks for that information. I'm obviously playing here with matching with the white line on the data, and I want to assign the feature code. So specify, edit that, and I can specify exactly the feature code I want those vertices or those lines to have, because these are the lines we will be exporting and taking it to Civil 3D. When it comes there, I don't want you or your civil engineers to struggle identifying what it is or colorizing, and I don't want them to spend too much time on it. Once you set up the proper feature codes here, and it will be exported along with those metadata information, so when it goes to your Civil 3D folks, they know exactly what they need to do, because it's exactly what it is. And those empty buttons you see, empty gray points, those are the places where you can create additional vertices if you want to, more than 4, or if you don't want to, you can delete as well. So you have a complete control on setting up this template for the extraction. Once you set up the template, it's even easier to extract. Oops. Yeah, once you set up, I can go section by section, or better yet, click the automatic extraction. So now tool actually goes section by section, extracting the templates for you, and looking at the template, it extracts those 3D polylines for you. If it gets stuck somewhere, all I have to do is update it a little bit, and it just continues on and on and on as long as that particular template goes. You can literally just sit and watch to make sure it does it right. You don't have to spend too much time on extracting. Once it does, you can export as a DXF or a land XML. It will have the coordinate system information, it has a feature code and everything, so it comes into your design software like Civil 3D exactly the way you want to, with the color, with the feature code, with all the information. You can continue with your civil design. Nothing is stopping you. So pretty simple. Three steps. Step number 1, create the project, click import button, bring your point cloud data, set up the coordinate systems, and press OK. It creates it and it's right there. Step number 2 is publish to ACEC or a BIM 360. And step number 3 is even simpler. You open it, set up your templates, and you can extract it. And by the time this conference is going on, we are actually in a week or so, we'll be releasing a newer version of this. It actually has a template storing. You can actually pre-create the templates and keep it, and it even makes it much easier. Remember, I told you everything I'm showing today is a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come. You'll see some cool stuff just in a week time. Mid-October, you'll start seeing it. So here you go, folks. That's how you extract the information from the point cloud data using Autodesk Recap. But I just want to give you guys a little bit more information on this. So it's not just the extraction part, which is the main part of the civil design. I agree with that. So this visualization component has a lot of advantage. I kind of talked about that a little bit in the before about the model coordination. I mentioned about the you can overlay with the civil 3D drawing or the Revit model or so on. So here's a quick example of this. So here's a quick example of the cloud viewer and the model coordination. By now you guys are experts. You know exactly what I'm clicking here. It's a ACC viewer. I click an RCP file and it shows now a lot of points. I know I showed a small data before, but imagine looking at this here, a large airborne LiDAR covering a large area. You can kind of identifying it now. It's acres and acres of land here and a lot of information, and user can actually pan around and visualize the data right off of the browser. It just streams, nothing is downloaded in your machine. See how smooth it goes. So that's exactly the experience you will get even for the large data. And I can even jump from one project to another. That's a separate area, and here is a separate area. I can jump from there to here, and I can actually see my information content. If you're wondering the size of this data, this is about 200-300 GB of data. Not big technically for point cloud size, but for those, if you're new to point cloud, 300 GB can hit you pretty hard. But people are working on terabytes of data. I have personally tested this with 1 terabyte of data, close to 400 kilometers of railroads, linear pathway. And this is the model coordination tool where I select my Navisworks mesh, in this case the mesh with the point cloud, and I also bring my civil 3D entities here, and that's what you see. The multicolored one is a mesh from the point cloud data, and those purple and gray lines are actually civil 3D corridors. There is actually a Revit building inside that building as well. So see, I can actually look at those in my browser anytime in a project life cycle for that matter, by the way, because your civil 3D drawing can be synced into the ACEC project location where this mesh already exists, and you can actually visualize it at any point and see how your civil design coexist with the existing conditions area in actual 3D. And if anything needs to be modified, for example, maybe in the initial stage of the project, you will actually see to make sure everything is right. In the halfway through the project, you might look at it and say, well, I thought it'd be right, but it's not given this situation. Maybe there's a parking lot coming there, there's a road coming here. So this 3D view and the ability for you to overlay and visualize it again one more time right off of the browser makes it much easier. And I mean, I'm not saying the civil engineer, civil design folks, it's a little bit hard to bring this mesh data into the civil 3D and other cases, but you don't have to. Why can't you leverage the thing that's already available and use civil 3D for your better design aspect? Is exactly what we are arriving at. So this model coordination and the visualization is, you can see it's a very foundation for this workflow we are talking about, and I'm sure many of you guys have checked it out, but if not, please give it a shot and let me know. Let us know. And one more thing I would like to tell you guys before I go is the some prep work you can actually do, like a auto classification. Like for example, in the latest version, you can actually bring in your point cloud data and you can create the classification of your point cloud data. Any point cloud, mobile or a drone, you can bring it in. We actually have a latest feature called auto classification where it converts that into a ground and a non-ground data very easily with the limited information. And right there it actually shows you the options, and you click start processing. It literally does the classification in front of you, and once it does, you can actually see the classification results, and it will show you the ground as a brown and the non-ground as a white points, and you can just save the ground points and you can start using that in your civil 3D drawing, for example. How cool is that? If you have a large point cloud data, imagine you actually collected from the drone and you got it, you want the surface for your analysis purpose. You don't have to go and sit and extract all the break line just to create the surface. Click this ground classification tool, it gives you the ground, and just take that into civil 3D, triangulate it, you have the surface right there. Literally in a half an hour or less, your whole drone data converts into an information chunk of terrain. You can put it and see exactly how it's going to look like. If you have some drawing components on top of it, you can show the water model and drainage capabilities. All those things you can check, makes it much easier. So couple of things I wanted to add here. So I talked about the automatic classification. I also mentioned the ground and the non-ground, but obviously in the practical cases you need more control over it. So that's why we added this capability, a manual classification and segmentation tool right in Recap Pro. Very simple. Once you have this, right now what you're seeing is the automated classification result, and I have a need to convert this into vegetation separately, street lights, cars, street lamps, and power lines or towers in between. I want to put them in a separate bins for different purpose. It could be a simple visualization, stakeholder engagement. You have the point cloud data. It's nothing wrong in making it look the way it's supposed to look so that you can use it for visualization aspect. On top of it, any features you extract, you can actually even take it into your asset extraction or asset modeling or asset verification. All those things are possible, but you cannot do those things when it is just one big clump of point cloud data. So this simple segmentation with the lock and unlock capability, you can actually see here. I can lock my ground and I can check it out. All those things are possible with a simple click of the button. We call it as a manual classification and segmentation. And you can even cars. Actually, one of our customers actually did the classification of the cars for their traffic analysis and things like that. I know it's a simple workflow, a simple application, but you can see the power of it. This can be leveraged for any purposes from the user perspective and take the full advantage of what product offers you on giving you more control on handling the point cloud data as flexible as possible. This is obviously only possible because the recap by itself, it can handle the point clouds more easily, more sophisticatedly, makes it easier. Right there, I can actually select it and classify the cards, and I can remove the cards, take it off of my view, and I can see only that, only what I want to, make it visualization and other aspects much more easier. So this is one of the additional cleanup tool you can actually leverage in the step 1 I showed you before, to take it forward. I also said, I didn't. This is actually not part of the step 1, step 2, step 3, because most of the users like you, use the feature lines as a break lines, and you can actually take it from there. But imagine you have more information you can get from the point cloud data. I kind of alluded it in automatic classification. You can classify the surface automatically, and obviously with this manual classification, I can clean up the way I want to, and I can take it in Civil 3D and create my surface, for example. But I hear some of you asking the question, Ramesh, I understand this, but it still has a lot of surface points. It's going to make way too many triangles, very thick surface, if that's the right way to say that, very rich or thick or whatever surface, and that's not something I'm used to, or I don't want to create. I want something simplified. I want something that works much faster, but without compromising the quality of the surface. We got it exactly what you want. We call it intelligent decimation. Again, in Recap Pro, we added this capability from the surface, or I'm using surface as an example. You can do for anything, but let's stick to surface example here. I can with the option, I can convert that into a decimated, which means it'll have a much fewer points, ground points, and I can actually use it to create the surface. Like for example here, let me show you. So right there, you got this. You see the difference between the original number of surface points and the decimated, like what we call some model key points. So you can actually use this to create the surface. If you're wondering about the quality of the surface, it's great actually. So here is on the left hand side is a surface created from decimated point. On the right hand side is a surface created from all the points. So you can compare it. I mean, we did the volumetric calculation, all those things to check how different it is and so on. But at the end of the day, you can actually get the exact surface which you'll get for all the points with the decimated points without losing the accuracy. And now you have a lesser points, that means lesser triangles, which means you have a better surface in your Civil 3D model. Now you marry this with the step 3 results of the feature lines and the assets. You can asset pick points, you can extract. Now you have the complete design extraction in Civil 3D, literally avoiding the complete large point cloud baggage. You don't have to make too many copies of it. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to take any copy of it. Once you have a copy, do a step 2, publish it. You can leverage that and complete your civil design literally in step 1, step 2, and step 3. I know I added a little bit more to step 1, so let's call it step 1, 1 plus 2 and 3, and you can actually extract your surface. So that is it, folks. I think that's what I want to cover today. Just to reiterate, very simple workflow. You can bring in any point cloud data in any format. I'm pretty sure if you bring up something that we don't support the format, the odds are very slim. If it is, let us know. We'll try to add that too. But for all practical purposes, almost any point cloud data images you can bring in. Recap Pro is the product which is available in AEC collection or other collections as well. Will help you prep the data the way you want to. Like I mentioned, the automatic classification, the manual segmentation, and the intelligent decimation aspect. And once you do that, you can publish right into ACEC or BIM 360. ACEC is Autodesk Construction Cloud. There you can visualize it and do the model coordination from literally anywhere, anytime, with any browser for that matter, and does the job very well. And you can also do a scan to design information extraction, like the feature line extraction with the templates and the point features like the trees and street lights and whatnot. You can actually extract them as a point features with the attributes, by the way, and all those information and the metadata. You can take it right into Civil 3D and complete your design. So this is the workflow we have today, and we have a lot of plans for making it even better, more simpler as well. If you have tried it, please let us know your feedback. If you have not tried it, I would strongly suggest you to give it a shot. Mostly, if you take a simple point cloud data you have, to go through this whole workflow should take a 30 minutes or an hour or so, depending upon the speed and everything. But you can actually check it out pretty easily, and I'm pretty sure you'll be amazed by it. If not, let us know. We'll like to know what can we do to make you amazed by this workflow. Yeah, that's all I want to cover today. Thank you very much for your time. Please let me know if you have any questions. Either I can answer, or my colleague John Sayer will be able to answer as well. Thanks.